When I first started working at La Belle Cuisine, I thought I had a chance to prove myself in the world of high-end culinary arts. But dreams have a way of souring in the harsh reality of kitchen life. Instead of plating delicate entrees or learning the secrets of fine sauces, I found myself relegated to gorying task, peeling mountains of potatoes. The kitchen's damp environment seeped into my skin, turning it rough, scabbed, and unrecognizable. Chef Laurent was the worst. His booming voice echoed through the kitchen, barking orders and criticisms with no regard for who was in his path. I was his favorite target.
"Paul!"
he bellowed one afternoon, slamming a wooden spoon on the counter.
"Even a monkey could peel faster than you. Are your hands broken?"
The other cooks laughed. My cheeks burned, but I kept my head down, fingers trembling as I worked the peeler. Every day was the same. The final straw came during a staff tasting. I'd spent weeks experimenting with recipes after hours, crafting a dish I hoped would finally earn me some recognition. When Laurent announced a tasting session, I seized the opportunity and presented my creation, foie gras. Laurent took one bite and spat into the dish.
"Garbage,"
he declared.
"Stick to peeling potatoes. That's all you're good for."
Laughter erupted again, louder this time. My vision blurred with tears, but I swallowed them back. I smiled and nodded, but inside, something cracked. That night, alone in the kitchen, I stared at the pile of peelings I'd left unfinished. The steel glint of the peeler caught my eye, and my reflection stared back, warped and jagged. Then Laurent's voice echoed in my head.
"Stick to peeling."
I'd been slaving for months, bending over backward for Laurent, only to be humiliated time and time again. If all he saw in me was someone to scrape and discard, maybe I'd give him exactly that. I threw myself into peeling, my knife flashing through tuber after tuber, sweat dripping from my brow onto the growing mound of mashed potatoes. My hands, calloused from relentless labor, began to ache. Without realizing it, the blade slipped, slicing through one of the hardened calluses on my palm. The sliver of skin fell onto the pile of potatoes, almost indistinguishable from the starchy flesh. I froze, staring at the tiny piece of myself nestled among the mash. An idea took root in my mind, grotesque yet irresistible. What if? Driven by exhaustion and a twisted sense of rebellion, I picked up the peeler. Slowly, deliberately, I shaved off another patch of rough skin. The pain was sharp but fleeting, and the satisfaction of reclaiming control was exhilarating. I examined it, transfixed. It was almost poetic, the way my own body could be reduced to nothing but scraps, just like the potatoes, just like Laurent wanted. I mixed the pieces into the mash, seasoning it with salt, pepper, and herbs. The next day, the dish was a hit. Customers raved about the unique depth of the mashed potatoes, praising Laurent for his ingenuity. He basked in the accolades, his chest puffed out with pride, while I stood in the shadows, silently savoring my secret. But the praise didn't change my position. Laurent continued to belittle me, taking full credit for the dishes I prepared. Oddly though, I no longer felt humiliated when peeling potatoes. That night, I stood in front of the mirror, peeling tool in hand. The first time had been an act of rage, but now it felt like power. The kitchen became my domain of transformation. My worsening skin condition provided ample material to mix into the potatoes. Scabs, patches of dry skin, even the occasional drop of blood, all found their way into the mash. With each strip of skin I removed, I felt lighter, freer. I was no longer just Paul, the potato peeler, the kitchen grunt. I'd gather the strips, mix them into the batch of mashed potatoes. I was the secret ingredient, the thing that made their meals unforgettable. The restaurant's reputation soared. Laurent basked in the glory, oblivious to the true source of his newfound success. But my body didn't heal the way I expected. Where I'd peeled, the skin didn't grow back. Instead, strange, pale patches emerged, soft and glistening like raw fish. The pain became a constant hum, but it didn't matter. The dishes were all that mattered. Then, one night, as I prepared another dish, Laurent burst into the kitchen, red-faced.
What is this?
He demanded, slamming a bowl onto the counter. I froze. The broth shimmered with an oily sheen, and tiny pale fragments floated to the surface, pieces I hadn't chopped finely enough.
Explain yourself!
He roared, grabbing my arm. His grip tightened, pulling up my sleeve. The bandages unraveled, revealing the patchwork of raw flesh beneath. His eyes widened in horror.
What have you done?
He whispered, his voice barely audible over the pounding of my heart. I smiled, the first genuine smile I'd felt in months. I've been giving you what you wanted, chef. A piece of me in every dish. Laurent stumbled back, clutching his stomach. His face turned pale as the realization hit. The critic, the patrons, the accolades, all built on the foundation of my sacrifice. He retched, the sound echoing through the silent kitchen. I turned back to the cutting board, the peeler gleaming under the fluorescent lights. There was still so much more to give. I always knew taking a night shift at a rundown Burger King was a bad idea, but I needed the job. Bills don't pay themselves. The manager who hired me over a rushed Zoom call barely gave details, just that the branch had seen staffing issues and needed someone to turn things around. Sounded like typical corporate nonsense. But when I arrived, the place was a dump. Faded signage, flickering lights, and an old, greasy smell that clung to the air. There were no other employees, just me, alone. At around 10:30 p.m., the glass doors swung open, and he walked in. A clown, not the friendly balloon-twisting type. This guy looked wrong. His red wig was disheveled, makeup smeared, and his yellow jumpsuit stained with something dark. He strutted to the counter, grinning like he knew something I didn't.
"Give me a Big Mac,"
he said, voice raspy like he'd been laughing too much. I forced a smile, punched in his order, and watched as he took the burger, unwrapped it, took one slow bite, then suddenly spat it onto the floor.
"Ugh, disgusting. This is not Big Mac. What a joke."
His eyes locked onto mine, and for a moment I felt small, like I was the joke. I turned to grab a napkin, and when I looked back, he was gone. No footsteps, no exit bell, just an uneaten burger sitting perfectly on the tray. But I just saw him bite into it. A cold sweat trickled down my spine. Something was wrong with this place. The first thing I thought was that I needed to hire more staff so I wouldn't feel so alone. I took the hiring notice and posted it on the front glass door. The power flickered. The hum of the freezer stuttered, and the overhead lights dimmed into a sickly orange glow. Then from behind me,
"I'm so hungry, but not for this trash. Give me a Big Mac.
I spun around. The restaurant was empty,
Give me a Big Mac."
but the voice, it came from the counter. And then I saw it. A plastic king figurine, the kind used for kids' meals, sat on the register. It hadn't been there before, and yet its mouth moved, the crackling speaker inside letting out a distorted, static-filled voice.
"Where's my Big Mac? Give me a Big Mac."
I picked it up. It was light, no batteries, I dropped it, stomach twisting. A loud bang echoed from the back storage room. Something, or someone, was inside. I pushed the door open, the cold air hitting me like a slap. The room was a mess. Boxes toppled over, plastic wrap torn apart. But the worst part, the life-sized Burger King mascot statue, the one usually propped near the entrance, was here, and there was a knife plunged into its chest. Dark red liquid seeped down the golden robe. It looked like ketchup at first, then I touched it. It was warm. My breath hitched. That wasn't ketchup. Then I heard it. A wet, gurgling chuckle from the dark corner of the room. A shadow moved. A figure stepped forward, illuminated by the flickering light. I saw the white-painted face first, stretched into an unnatural smile. His red lips curled upward, but his eyes were empty.
This dump shouldn't even exist. Everyone knows McDonald's runs the game.
I recognized the yellow jumpsuit, the red wig, the grease-stained gloves. Ronald McDonald, or something pretending to be him. He raised his hand. A rusted butcher knife glinted in the dim light. I stumbled back. My heart slammed against my ribs.
Give me a Big Mac!
Then, he lunged. I barely dodged, his knife slicing through my uniform sleeve. My hands scrambled for anything. A weapon, a shield, when my fingers brushed against a cast iron pan on a nearby shelf. I grabbed it and swung with everything I had. The impact sent Ronald crashing to the floor, limbs twitching. His grin never faded. Even as his head lolled unnaturally to the side, he kept smiling. I didn't wait. I ran. I sprinted down the highway, lungs burning, until I spotted a police cruiser parked by a gas station. I banged on the window, yelling. The officers stepped out, eyes narrowing as they took in my blood-streaked uniform and frantic babbling. I told them everything, but they didn't react. They looked past me, talking into their radios.
Yeah, we found the scene.
One officer said.
Looks like it's been abandoned for decades, but there's something else.
I waved my arms. Hey, listen to me, I'm right here. No response. I reached for one officer's shoulder and my hand passed right through him. A deep, suffocating dread settled in my chest. I turned. The officers were standing by the Burger King lot. Only, it wasn't a restaurant anymore. Just a crumbling sign, half buried in the dirt.
Jesus,
one officer muttered.
Over here.
I followed his gaze and saw my own body, lying in the dirt. Gimme a Big Mac.
I'm Sarah. I rented an old McDonald's. Luckily, the equipment was still in good condition, so I just had to do some minor cleaning, and I can open my store tomorrow. While cleaning, I heard a strange noise. I followed the sound and found a Ronald McDonald statue. I'm so lucky. Kids love Ronald. I'll put it in front of the store. I'm sure it will attract a lot of children. Opening day was a huge success. We were open until 11 p.m. Everyone was exhausted, so I decided to work the late shift. This town is mostly farms, so I figured it would be pretty quiet. I was just sitting there, scrolling through my phone, when I heard the order bell. I went to the counter, but there was no one there. Maybe I heard it wrong. Just as I was about to close the window, a blood-red message caught my eye. More childish pranks? This town isn't as peaceful as I thought. I had just sat down when the bell rang again, urgently. Someone was trying to mess with me already. I stood up angrily and was about to confront whoever was doing this when it appeared in front of me. Exactly. It appeared because I had shut all the doors of the sales booth.
Get out of here!
She looked scary, but she was just a little girl, right? Are you hungry? Can I help you?
Aren't you scared of me?
She seemed so miserable. She must have suffered a lot. I replied calmly, "You're not scary at all." Suddenly, the window shattered. Was it not her ringing the bell? I looked at the window and there was Ronald McDonald staring at me with an evil grin. What in the world is happening?
Run!
Sully's scream jolted me back to reality, and I instinctively followed her. We dashed into the storage room, and I couldn't resist asking her, "Hey, you seem to know a lot about that creepy clown statue." She didn't respond, but floated up, sending a crate crashing to the floor. There, before my eyes, was a crate of files, full of the store's dark secrets.
The clown statue is haunted by Sean. He's the one who hurt me. He would put on a Ronald McDonald costume, and since my dad was always busy, I'd come to the store alone. Sean would always treat me. One day, Sean said he would take me home instead of my dad. I went with him, but we went farther and farther, and it got darker and darker. I tried to escape, but he held me tight. I was terrified. He hurt me so badly that my soul left my body. I knew right then that I was dead. My dad thought Sean had hurt me, but he couldn't find any proof. So my dad killed him right here in front of the store. So my dad went to jail, and that guy, Sean, possessed the clown statue and started haunting me.
I couldn't believe the reason this store was closed was so terrifying. Just then, the storage room door slammed shut with a bang. "Sully, don't worry, I'm here for you." The door was kicked open, and the creepy clown appeared with a sinister laugh. He wasn't a friendly clown anymore. Inside him was a monster.
You sick bastard! I won't let you hurt anyone else.
Even though I smashed its head in, the clown statue didn't seem to care. Its smile was so taunting. The clown could even control broken bricks. I didn't see that coming. I could only cover my head.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. This statue is going down. I'm going to crush this evil statue and make that pervert Sean disappear forever. I turned him into dust. Let's see if he can come back. Finally, the clown was completely defeated. Sully ran to hug me. Now she can finally rest. To give Sully's spirit peace, I called the police to the spot where her body was buried. As she wished, I also asked her father to come and claim her body. Finally, after 23 years, her body was found. Seeing the old man, her father, sorrowfully holding his daughter's body, my heart ached. This was the last comfort for him. He finally got to meet his daughter. I did a good thing, didn't I?
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Goodbye, Sully.